Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 news video. We got a gameplay trailer for Gamescom with at least 2 new features of the upcoming FS25, and first we'll just have a look at the trailer, and then I prepared some screenshots to have a closer look at specific moments of this trailer. And yeah, as you can see, there will be young animals. Finally we'll get the baby animals, and I was hoping for them so much, and I already speculated on whether we will get young animals or not. And now it starts raining and you can see the droplets on the mirror, and yeah, everything gets darker and the combine harvester stops working, and we have a very vintage semi-truck, and the tornado is coming and it looks so dangerous and everybody is in awe of it. And now we are inside the tornado even, and we can see about the ferry. We will have a closer look at that, and the tornado is still coming. The farmer is driving away with his truck, and then everything gets dark and the field is broken and the trees are broken. And here we see in New Holland, I guess this is the next day, the sun is out again, the tornado has passed, and here we have seen the cows being fed, and an Oruga Wagon, a Great Plains sewing machine. And yeah, this is typical for such a trailer, that it shows off a lot of the upcoming machines, and we just saw a little goat. And now we go through all the screenshots that I made, and here this is obvious, nothing really new. We see the water tower of Riverbend Springs to make sure, okay, this trailer is happening in Riverbend Springs, not in the Asian map, and neither in Sri Lanka, which will be the European map, but it's still Riverbend Springs. Yeah, here this is something that we already saw in a similar way. We can look through this frame to the farmer's market, and we see the red and golden coach, and we will have a coach production. But I don't know yet whether we can drive with the coach. That would be awesome. Yeah, it's about Farming Simulator 25, and we see I think the area of the main farm. And here we finally see the young cows roaming around and prancing on the meadow, and one of them is trying to stand up, and it takes quite a while. Another one is running from the side, and I have a lot to say about these few moments of young animals, and therefore I decided I'll make a dedicated video about the young animals, even if we don't know much yet. But for me it's enough to really be happy and fangirl about those young animals, and I won't do it in this video because then it would become too long, and I will only fangirl a little bit about the young animals. Yeah, aren't they cute? Here we see this coach production. It is a house that not only has 4 levels, but it has streets in 4 levels coming, or roads coming to the house and going from the house, which makes this house really interesting. And at the right hand corner we see a coach leaving this production building. And there a MacDon swathing harvester comes, and I think we already know the bad weather will come. That won't be good for the swath, I guess. Yeah, and here we see the spinach harvester, and we see the little pigs. Aren't they cute? Yeah, I really have to hold myself back not to be too crazy about these animals. There will be a dedicated video about the cuteness of those ears. And here we see huge case tractor with something like cultivator, I guess. A huge one. And a Massey Ferguson tractor with a sewing machine, and this looks like a new brand. Maybe I will find out, but we will know when there will be those fact sheets. I hope they come soon. And yeah, and in the end we will know all the machines at the release. But I'm sure this new brand will come up earlier. So here from behind, and the spinach harvest again from the front, and now the rain is coming. And here we can see the droplets on the mirror, but not at the window of the oxbow. And so we don't know yet whether they will make the droplets of the rain later at the windows or not. I heard a discussion, I think it was in the forum or maybe in the Discord, where, yeah, I guess it was someone from Giant saying, no, it won't come to the front window of the vehicles, the droplets. But I'm not sure about it. So that is something, if you are really into realistic immersion and everything has to be as realistic as possible, maybe it's something you have to have an eye on, whether the rain droplets will come to all the windows of the vehicles. Yeah, and here we see this tower, I guess it's a fire tower, or fire watch tower, where we have the spinach field at the other side, and I guess it's in this area. Maybe they have several of those towers, and the rain is pouring down, and here the John Deere harvester stops with the harvest. And here I ask myself, if it's raining so strong and we have all this rice or grain, other stuff in the top of the bunker of the harvester, it will get wet. What happens in reality to this? It could be a real heavy problem if we have such a strong rain that pours onto this bunker of the combine harvester. But with some harvesters they are closed, but the John Deere's, they are open. And yeah, what happens in reality and what happens in the game? What will happen in the game? Until now, when we have this situation in FS25, you just have to stop harvesting, but the grain doesn't spoil from being wet and you don't have to dry them. But maybe that will change in FS25. I don't know yet. And I think nobody knows yet, apart from the Giants workers who are working on that, but everybody outside doesn't know whether we have to dry this wet rice, or maybe there is something at this harvester where you can cover it, but I have never seen such a thing. And in reality, I would think it would be a good idea to empty it before the rain comes and to look at the weather forecast and not only stop when the rain is already pouring down, but to stop a little bit earlier, empty the bunker of the combine, and also drive away with the trailers from the semi-truck you have over there in the background, because they are open. They should close against the rain. Yeah, but maybe I just worry about something that is not part of the gameplay. But in reality, I think it would be a major problem. So this is this vintage trailer that we will see closer in a minute, with two trailers. Here we see it. This is a TrendStar, and it is a real old-fashioned vintage semi-truck. And yeah, so we will get very old-fashioned vintage trucks in FS25, which is awesome. Yeah, and I think we had some that were not so modern and looked really cute and awesome, but this is a new one. I haven't seen it before, at least not in the base game. Yeah, and there is this huge Oruga Wagon, and the farmer is running. Maybe he has seen the weather forecast and knows that a tornado is coming. And here it is, approaching. And it gets even darker. And now we are in the middle of the tornado. And here is a very interesting image about the ferry. So the image itself is just bad weather, but this signpost there, it says Peel Ferry, and then operated by the Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department. And I'm not so sure whether I pronounce it correctly, this Arkansas. For me, it's very, very strange to say something that is written like Arkansas, like Arkansas, but I've heard it in some videos, and Google Translate told me, yes, I should pronounce it in a way I would never guess to pronounce it. Yeah, and that makes clear that this Riverbend Springs map is in the region of Arkansas, and we could have guessed it before because it's the area where rice is grown, and it's an area where we have all those wounded rivers with so much bends. And when you have a closer look at this area, this whole state is full of those bended rivers. Full, completely. Wherever you have a look, when you look at Google Maps, then you can see such a lot of those rivers that are curvy like nothing. And someone, I guess it was yours, already found the exact location where we have a bend that looks exactly like in Riverbend Springs. But other than that, this bend doesn't look like the upcoming map, which is normal. Giants always take a region and they let themselves inspire by the region, but they don't make a one-to-one build from an exact location. And because that would somehow be a little bit difficult, they have to bring all types of selling stations, production buildings, farms, and so on and so forth in a square with 2 kilometers size, and or 2 by 2 kilometers, and in reality it would take more place to have all those types of different selling stations and productions. And yeah, but this is rather special, where you can see, okay, they really took Arkansas as a role model for Riverbend Springs. Yeah, and we have a weight limit, which is 14 tons or 25 tons. And I don't really understand why they have two different weight limits, but maybe you understand it. But it's obvious that a really heavy truck can't go on this small ferry. And the normal operation hours are the daylight hours. And then they write, no, ferry will not operate during periods of high winds, waves, or heavy fog. So when there is heavy wind, like now, the ferry won't operate, and when it's heavy fog, it won't operate also. So as we always have heavy fog in Riverbend Springs, maybe it only operates sometimes. And the last trip of the day is 8 p.m. And this 8 is in a different color, so maybe they change it, and in wintertime it's something like 5 p.m. maybe. Yeah, this is more information about the ferry that we had so far, and therefore I find this signpost very interesting. Okay, let's go on. Here, the tornado is still coming, and now the farmer is fleeing from the tornado. Yeah, and about the tornadoes, I think it's natural that giants build in tornadoes when they want to have stronger weather effects on the farming experience than before, and they make a map that is located in the tornado alley of the USA. Then there should be tornadoes, obviously. But what about the other maps? Will Sri Lanka have tornadoes? I don't know how it is in reality in Poland and Czechia. No, you know what I mean. What I know is in Germany there are more and more tornadoes, and this is not just a new phenomenon. I experienced a tornado 40 years ago. It must be a little bit more than 40 years. It was in June. I was pregnant with my second son, 6 weeks before he was due. And so it was 40 years plus 6 weeks. And I was living in an area in, let's say, the center of Germany, a little bit closer to the north. And we had a plain and a little hill, and we were living at the hillside. And the weather was very bad at that day, very hot and humid, and we thought, oh, there will be a thunderstorm in the evening. And then when it got darker and darker, we were looking outside through the window. We were standing in the house and looking through the windows, and through this plain, suddenly a tornado came And we couldn't believe our eyes, because in this time nobody thought that tornadoes were possible in Germany. And maybe that was because in this time people didn't had their smartphone available or cameras available for filming such events, and then you just thought, okay, it was a thunderstorm that destroyed everything. Yeah, and that is what happened. The house wasn't destroyed, only the windows shattered, some of them, but the garden and the trees that were on this hill, they were completely broken down. After this thunderstorm, this tornado, the next day, the whole tree area, there were old, very beautiful trees like a park, and they were all broken down. It looked like a catastrophe happened. And sure, it was mentioned in the newspapers, but it was not well known, and it wasn't mentioned in the television that there have been a devastating tornado. And that was more than 40 years ago. Yeah, okay, so in a German map, maybe one should make tornadoes. But I don't know how about Poland, and I don't know how about the Asian map. So for me, it's not sure whether every map will have tornadoes. I would guess not. So I would think there will be lists that you can say, okay, the weather on my map has tornadoes or doesn't have tornadoes. And maybe there will be hailstorms. That would be a typical Central European or German type of catastrophe that affects farmers, something like hailstorms. Maybe we will have, how it's called, this floods, water floods from rain when it rains too much. And I'm really interested what will come with the weather catastrophes. And I'm very interested whether it will be able to switch off if you don't like that your harvest is completely spoiled and your trees are broken. So let's go on. Next day, the most plants of this field are gone. And in the background you can already see the broken trees. And oddly enough, I think that are only the spruce and pine-like trees who broke, because the leaf trees, they look as beautiful as ever. So here we see it from a little bit further, this destroyed field. Only an area of the field is destroyed. And here we see the trees, and it looks really, really sad. And you wouldn't think that an old German woman has experience with tornadoes. But as I told you, I have, and seeing those trees is really brings up a lot of feelings. And we also had, but later, much later, in when we had the switch from 1999 to 2000 in the Boxing Day, it is called, I think, in America. We had a very strong storm, just a storm. That would be a typical problem in Europe as well. Very strong storms, nearly like hurricanes, but not called hurricanes, and they don't have this spiral-like shape. Yeah, and such a lot of trees were broken down from this. And then few years later another one. And this is so sad when you go to a forest where you see those trees. So I really want a possibility to switch it off. But I want to experience it once because it's an awesome feature, but not for every time, because it would be very sad to have a farm and everything is destroyed over and over again just by the weather. Okay, now this is happy again. We have a new Holland tractor, a cute new one. I think I saw it at Agritechnica, and I remember such a New Holland looking like that. And in the background we have those cows in this barn. And when we had the videos about the rice harvest, I was wondering what this barn would be about. It's just a simple shed and a meadow. And I asked myself, is it for cows or is it maybe for sheep? And I was thinking rather cows, because the sheep usually have this special fences for the shaving time, and there wasn't be fences like that. Yeah, and now we can see it's a simple cow barn, and I like it that we got simple cow barns again that are not only meadows, but meadows with a simple building. Yeah, and we see the cute little calves. And here the New Holland starts to work. I think this looks like a planter. And here we have a telehandler coming from the bale storage. And the building is like the bale storage building in FS25, but I don't see this bale storage function. It looks like a normal shed that is being used as for bale storing, but not with the bale storing function. Maybe they only made it like that for this trailer because it looks nice with the telehandler. And it's from Sennebogen. Okay, it looks good. And yeah, the food is brought to the cows. And here we have the Oruga Wagon. So this is like, oh, the terror of the tornado is gone, and now we have good weather, and they keep on working, and the rice in this trailers didn't get wet. Yeah, and life goes on. And here it's a nice Oruga Wagon. And a Great Plains sawing machine. And there is this orange tractor, and I heard this will be a Challenger. Yes, but I don't know anything about it yet. So here we have this Oxbow spinach harvester again. And the John Deere harvester is working again and harvesting the rice field. And then there is the little goat. Yeah, and you might think, if you don't have goats or sheep, as I don't have goats or sheep, you might think, oh, it might be just a little sheep. No, it isn't, because if you have a closer look at little goats and little sheep, they look rather different. And this is a goat, and I would say a rather young one. And here, look how it jumps. And you can see a sheep. Now, at the left side, this is the thumbnail of this trailer. And the left one is obviously a lamb, a little sheep. And look how cute the others are. This brown cow that we haven't seen in the trailer. And with this big eye and a little bit scared. And then the piglet with his dots, how happy it is, and yeah, jumping to new adventures. And the lamb is really like sheepish and looks very, very peaceful and such. And it has curly hairs already. And then when we go back to the goat, this is completely different. This is not sheepish at all, and it is a little bit sassy. It's jumping around, and it's a little goat. Yeah, so we will not only get young animals, but goats. And I really hoped for goats. And I'm quite happy that finally we'll get them. Okay, we had them in mods, that's true, and on some maps. But when I say something like finally we get this and this, I always mean in the base game or in the official game with DLCs and such. In the mods we get quite a lot of things, and that doesn't count for me as we have it in the game. Yeah, and it's really time that we have the goats and the young animals in the game. Okay, so that's it about the first Gamescom trailer. I hope we get more information in the next days. I will make videos about it for sure. And I'm already planning to make a video tonight about the young animals, where I can concentrate on this topic. This will be up tomorrow, I hope so. Yeah, that's about the Gamescom trailer for today. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.